Oh, man. Oh, man. I know a lot of you guys are happy. I know a lot of people are happy there was no overtime. I know a lot of people are happy for Allgaier winning and for a pretty good battle at the end. I know a lot of people like me are happy that we don't have to deal with maybe possible tornadoes or any of that. We're here. I'm happy that we're just able to be here. So welcome on in, everybody, to the 2025 the Laguna race. Just a weird ass name for a race. Spam those Gators in the chat. It's a mic blast. All right. I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I'm going to be a little back and make sure I don't blow it out anymore. I knew the first time that I didn't check to be sure it would just completely blow everyone's ears out. So, but yeah, spam those Gators in there for little Gator Allgaier. Justin Allgaier wins this race over Eric Almirola. He gets redemption for what happened last week at the end of the Phoenix one. Nice, Spencer. Hold on. I'm learning. Name a three-letter animal. Alligator. If anyone knows that, y'all are real ones. I get race itself might not have been the greatest for a lot of people. I understand that, but let me know out of 10 what you thought of this thing. Either spam a Gator or spam your grade for the race out of 10. 10 being the best Xfinity race you've ever seen, 1 being the worst one you've ever seen. Where does it kind of align in there? But Allgaier beats Almirola. It's the battle of the A's up front by just over 1 second in a race that was 200 laps. There were 3 cautions. There was a lap 1 caution for Sawalich in that crash. There was the end of stage 1, the end of stage 2, and that was it. It was a very straightforward race if you could ever see one. There we go, all the alligator emojis. 2 hours, 8 minutes, 3 seconds was the time of the race. 7 lead changes, including during a green flag pit cycle. It was pretty much, I mean, looking at the stats here, it was the Allgaier Almirola show with a touch of Connor Zilich up there before issues. Looking at the laps led today, get this. It was 28 by Zilich, 51 by Almirola, 102 by Justin Allgaier. After that, you had Sammy Smith lead a few. Kyle C got 6 in a pit cycle, and I believe that was it. And if I'm not mistaken, unless it changed at some point, they didn't update it on the broadcast, I do believe Zilich got the fastest lap. Can anyone say whether or not that is true? Did Zilich get it? And thank you, Zenith. How was your day? Pretty good. I got to watch a race and not get a tornado hitting me, so pretty good. Okay, so yes, Zilich did end up getting the fastest lap today, so that's an added point and a pretty good finish on top of it. But yeah, Allgaier, Almirola 1-2, Jesse Love with a solid 3rd place finish today. I think that's just what that team needed. 4th for Austin Hill after going down a set of tires for an unscheduled stop. Great comeback for him. That is, I'd say that's championship level grit to come back, and luck too. Cannot discount the luck in that happening. From there, you got Mayer with a top 5, pretty good top 5 finish. Much needed 6th place finish for Brandon Jones. 7th goes to Ryan Sieg. Again, Sieg is just really good. That whole team is good at these 1.5-mile tracks. So a much needed good run for him as well. I'm going to keep saying it until he proves me wrong by not doing it by the end of the year at Phoenix. Ryan Sieg will win a race this year. You watch. He will win a race this year. From there, we have Harrison Burton with another good run, an 8th place finish for Harrison Burton in a team that everyone thought was dead after what happened last year. 9th place finish, last in the lead lap for Connor Zilich in the 9th spot. That speeding penalty cost him a real shot at the win. He was running faster than the 2 leaders, by the way, at the end of this race for the most part. Unfortunately, though, not going to get the finish that he deserves. That's going to be a theme of a lot of JRM cars outside of the winner today. 1 lap down in 10th, Sheldon Creed raced the leaders with respect and well. Exactly what you'd want to. From there, Kyle Sieg nearly gets 2 top 10s for the Siegs. He gets an 11th place run today, 1 lap down. Danny Dye in 12th, Eckes 13th, 14th after issues as well for Sammy Smith from the pole. Kind of a disappointing finish to the day for the 8. Dean Thompson, solid top 15 finish. 16th, Matt DiBenedetto. 17th, Carson Quapple, who had issues because the 27, I believe, Jeb Burton's team had equipment leave the box, being the fuel can. It hits the fueler of the one car, and from there, you unfortunately have the pit stop messed up, and about 3 gallons of fuel that needed to go in did not. He ends up 8 laps short, has to pit, 17th place run. It's the theme of the season for Carson Quapple. I don't know what he has to do to get the good finishes he deserves, but my God, the man just he just cannot catch a break. And it's crazy to me that he's going to be so far down in the standings compared to where he's been running. He's been running top 5, top 10 just about every race, and just things keep happening out of his control. He's fast, and the thing about teams that are fast, and the thing about drivers that are fast, especially young ones, is that 1, he's going to gain more experience and get better, and 2, when you have fast cars, eventually it breaks out. And you know, while we can't really predict too much when it comes to the end of the year, if you look at playoff stuff when it comes to any of these series, especially the lower series, if you're fast, I mean, just all it takes is that 1 win and you're in, and your season is completely re-upped. From there, you got 18th for Alfredo, Gray 2 laps down, 19th, Sanchez 20th, Retzlaff 21st, Poole 22nd, Jeb Burton 23rd, 3 down for Clements in 24th, Wright 25th, 4 down, Perkins in the 26th spot. He finishes 5 laps down. 27th, Garrett Smithley, 6 down, Emmerling and Josh Williams in 29th. Williams having to get out of the car, and Ty Dillon finishing his race due to a medical issue. It looked like he had an albuterol inhaler, and as someone with asthma, I'm going to say he's been having troubles breathing a lot, and people have said it might be like an allergy thing or something like that. It might just be asthma messing up, which sucks. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It sucks. If you want to know what it's like to, you know, I don't know if he had an asthma attack or a flare up or anything, try and breathe through a straw. That's what it feels like. And they were saying, you know, he couldn't breathe in the corners and was trying to get his breath in the straights. That very well may be what happened. And I know it's probably too much speculation. It's he had pneumonia, so that could be it too. But if at the same time, if you have something else like that, something like pneumonia can act it up longer than even when you had it. I'm just telling you from that. After Josh Williams / Ty Dillon, we had 30th for Honeyman, then 7 down for Balicki, 31st, 32nd, Dawson Cram, 8 down, Gase, 33rd, 9 laps off the pace, 19 laps down for Ellis, Greg Van Ellis, last one on the track, 21 laps down in 35th, Austin Green in 36th, Mason Massey, 37th, and Sawalich out on lap 1. And so now we'll put the results on the bottom. I can see a lot of y'all do not know how this works. We go through the finishing order usually, then we put that in the bottom. Then we talk about more stuff with it. Let's talk about the big part of the day here, the finish. We had a long green run to get to the finish of this race. Something that I'll say, I appreciate not having another overtime, not having some other crazy moment that takes out the guys who should be running up front, the faster cars. The best 2 cars today finished 1-2. And it is interchangeable between the 7 and the 19. I get aero blocking, definitely a big factor here. But again, I like that after the controversy that we had last week, we can actually talk about this finish being, you know, good. And at the same time, it wasn't like it was just a 7 runaway. It was in a lot of ways, a battle basically out of the pits. Looking back at my notes here, with 48 laps to go, and it looked like that he has a slow stop. Eric Almirola cycled out right in front of Justin Allgaier, and they raced side by side on the apron out of the pits. Really hard racing. And the 19 kept it ahead of the 7 for a few laps. But when Allgaier had his chance, he struck. The 19 gets stuck behind some lap traffic. He uses him as a pick. The 7 gets by, the 19 gets by again, and they're racing from there. And the pass comes with roughly, I think, about 50 or so to go. As we have our dash for cash drivers, I'm just going to take a picture because I don't want to write down the notes of it from this race as well. That's another added fold to all of this. And it was just a back and forth. The 19 had the better car at the end of this race. The 7's handling went away longer in the run, as Kyle Busch noted, which I will say, shout out to Kyle Busch. I think he was really good in the booth. I want Parker back next week, obviously. I think that energy definitely was missing from him. But the chemistry between Kyle Busch and Jamie McMurray today, I think, was really, really good. And they picked, I think they picked a good, solid guy to step in for 1 week. I don't want Kyle Busch every week. I think he'd need a little more training to be good every week, but I liked the analytical approach that he brought in. But Kyle Busch, in that analytical approach, brought up the fact that the Joe Gibbs cars are definitely better on the longer runs, whereas the JRM cars really are better on the shorter runs. And you saw that play out with the 7 being really just bad fast to start the run, and then the 19 would just reel him in a little bit. That's what happened at the end. But again, great driving by Allgaier. Almirola is no slouch. Even, say what you want about him after last week, no slouch to beat that guy. And wow, I didn't even listen to the radio side because I actually really like the CW. So Ross Chastain's in the PRN booth. See, I don't know if this is part of the driver incentive program to get drivers doing new things and get out there more. But I'm all for it. If they're able to bring good stuff to the table and it's not just kind of dull or just a, hey, look at this. And, hey, I'm the next Michael Waltrip, like Clint Boyer. Like, I'm all for it, man. Go for it. I love that. We'll talk a little bit about CW stuff. I got some updates from people in the know a little bit more about this that I think people will like, though we might have to wait for it. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. I just want to finish off. Great run today by just the whole field. I mean, outside of that lap 1 wreck, Jeb Burton, one way or another, was like involved in all of the major issues that took people out of either contention, like with Carson Kvapil, or took people out of contention, like William Sawalich on lap 1, packing his ass with air on that one. Just bad day for him. But overall, the field was really, really solid today. And I'll take it. I will definitely take it. I don't think we'll get that tomorrow. I think that the next gen cars might actually be harder to drive at the intermediates. So there's, and Dirty Def brings up an update here. Ross did 6 races last year on PRN, says he's also doing a couple MRN races this year. Awesome. And the reason there's probably the back and forth, a big reason is probably because of the combination into the new NASCAR racing network that's being sort of formed over time. And Race Hell Praise Dale, love the name, love the profile pic, love everything about this comment too. It's pretty crazy how much young talent we have in Xfinity right now. True. Absolutely true. And I brought this up before the season. I think we're going to see some craziness today. I want to talk about Connor Zilic for a moment. Connor Zilic should have had a top 3 run today. Easily should have. As Brandon Jones's 96 race win list, though he got a top 10. I want to bring this up. Holy crap. Hold on. Before I bring that up, laps led this season by manufacturers. Chevy has 644, Toyota 88, Ford 30. Damn, son. Damn, those Chevys came out fast today. And all year round, all 5 races. But as he's on screen on my end right now, Connor Zilic impressed the hell out of me. It was very reminiscent to how he got better as the day went on last year at Kansas, which for anyone who was there, he was just hanging it loose and letting it roll. And it was a hell of a fun race to watch, watching that bright yellow KOA Chevy flying just through the field. Today, racing up front against Eric Almirola and Justin Allgaier. Say what you want. I know an Xfinity lifer and a guy who won a couple races and just, as a lot of people said last week, picks on the kids down there. Still very talented drivers to race against. He's in one of the best cars and he's racing like that. And the same thing about Carson Kvapil. Those two are going to be the ones that are going to be fun to watch in the back half of this year. When we get to the second half of the year, when we're going back to tracks we've seen before, when we're going to tracks that are similar to ones we've been to, and when you have them with a lot of experience week over week under their belts, I cannot wait to see what the 1-88 teams do. Both of them will be winning a lot of races, I think, this year. When we get to the shorter tracks, I mean, we got Homestead next week. I'm very interested to see what Connor Zilisch can do at Homestead. If he goes out there, rips the top, and is one of the best ones out there, the comparisons to Kyle Larson will be flying again. But when it comes to that one team, Kvapil, I can't wait to see him at Martinsville on March 29th. I can't wait to see him on a shorter but talent-based track like Darlington or Bristol in a couple weeks, Rockingham. I mean, those 4 races to me are going to, I think, really set the tone for what that one team can do this year, as long as stupid stuff doesn't happen to them. That's literally it. They just need just to have a clean, normal top 10 or 5 race. As for the 88 team and Zilisch, I expect them to be top 5 to top 7 in speed every week. Come up there, compete for wins on a semi-regular basis. And then I'd say basically from Chicago on, I'm expecting the 88 team to be one of the best 3 out there, if they aren't already. I know it's high expectations to put on him there, but gotta say, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun this year. And I'm just looking through Sam Mayer, and that Haas machine has been pretty fast this year. Here comes the sirens. Knew it would happen at least once this stream. A lot of good speed from a lot of these younger guys. There's no favorite, in my opinion. No favorite yet. They have not put themselves out there. Damn, they're loud this time around. Put the sirens in the chat. So I wanted to give him for sure a shout out on this one. I almost said a shout out because of the sirens. Cannot speak. But overall, a pretty straightforward race. Kind of going through it. Outside of that lap 1 crash, it was pretty much just a lot of comers and goers through runs. You could definitely tell who was learning as they went. And other than a couple flat tires or anything, a few good saves here and there, it was pretty clean and green in just about every way. Allgaier wins the first stage. I mean, he was out there by like 7 seconds. Nobody was catching him. He was just, even with the possible electrical issues that team was having, which is something that I'm wondering if that came up to maybe kind of bite him in the ass or be like a little kind of just point of contention when it came to competing today. But still wins the first stage over Almirola, Kvapil, Zilisch, Gray, Sammy Smith, Austin Hill, Jesse Love, Mayer, and Ryan Sieg. And Ryan Sieg, as I look, he's on my TV right now. Shout out again to Ryan Sieg. That team has been top 10 just about every mile and a half for the last year. They had that second place finish barely at Texas last year. Just solidly chipping away. They seem, in my opinion, a step better so far. Again, 5 races in, still very early to judge, but they seem a step better than they were last year. And I really think that even if they don't win before the playoffs start, they can point their way in. I think they're actually that solid of a team this year. Even with the shifter issues, they handed him a bottle of WD-40 to spray on it because it kept not going to third. And they managed to fix it up. I have it muted just because of copyright. I don't want to say too much, but get in trouble with the CW and NASCAR on that. But, really, really good day for him. Okay, I promise I'd talk about the CW. I want to bring this up because I see, Chris McIntyre brings up a great point. CW is interviewing an 11th place finisher. I love it. I love that we have a post-race show and we're talking to the finishers through the field. Now, granted, this race finished well within the window, but a wide window usually. I'm interested to see if this can continue into football season for sure, because, they're going to have games butted up right with the races and stuff like that. But another point here was brought up by John, who said that I really wish CW would stream the broadcast. So I'm going to talk a little bad, but I'm also going to give a little bit of hope if you want as well. The bad today is that in the Tulsa, Oklahoma market for the CW, they went to Thunder pregame with 30 or so to go. Not good. Again, got to keep people on the same page. It's going to get annoying. I guarantee at some point it's going to happen to me, whether I'm up in Illinois or I'm down here in Nashville. I don't like that. On the other end, a bit of an update when it comes to the app and the streaming side of it. One, the Detroit market got the race on the app. So if you're living in the surrounding area of Detroit and you haven't been able to get the race on, because that's been a huge problem, I will say this: you will not be able to get it on the app. I got an update from some people in the know, one in particular. Shout out to you if you're watching, on this one. The app should be ready for streaming nationwide later this year, probably early to midsummer. The issue, from what I've heard on this, is that the CW's app was not made for nationwide streaming yet. It just wasn't up to snuff. One, I think they should have seen this coming, but I guess it's been addressed to a lot of the affiliates out there. So for those who have been having issues, I know that a lot of people in Michigan, Wisconsin, Portland, I heard had some issues last week. Georgia, especially around Atlanta with the cutting off the finish. The app should be ready, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the mid to late summer, maybe even early summer. It sounds like they're really beefing that side of it up. They're addressing it. This is not like a Fox Sports issue where we'll complain about the cartoons for 6 years and they won't even talk about it. Or if they do, they'll say, suck it up. They're actually addressing this. I get it should have been ready. They should have known this was coming. It should have been ready long in advance. But I'm glad that at least they're addressing it. So there is that. So for anyone who was maybe wondering about that side of it, there's at least an update I got from some people in the know. And I wanted to make sure that that you'd know that in advance. It might be a bit, but it shouldn't be a long-term issue through the extent of the full deal, which I'll take it. I'll take it because I have the CW app on my TV, so I can just pop that up. It's funny, as we finish talking about that, the points are up. I'm just going to take a picture of it because I don't want to sit there and read like that the whole time. So we got our 4 winners that are in. Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith, Sheldon Creed are 56, 42, 30 points up. Taylor Gray plus 23. Then Ryan Sieg up to 9th in points plus 19. Eckes plus 13. Eckes today got a 13th place run. Jeb Burton plus 7. Harrison Burton plus 5. So the Burtons are in. Carson Quapple still -5 even after how well he's performed. Awesome stuff. Brandon Jones, -9. He's starting to climb his way back up. Sanchez and Danny Dye tied for 15th, -16 points. I got to give my props to CW. And I know that's probably why like at least 100 or 200 people aren't probably coming in here, which I'm A-okay with. They are kicking ass so far with the coverage. Little problems here and there with the audio, like the interview they tried with Sawalich, some little audio issues here and there. But overall, love what the CW is doing so far this year. And if they're able to improve it, this is the worst we got, similar to what NBC had in 2015. They built from there. NASCAR Productions, CW are knocking it out of the park. And if it continues to get better, I think it's something flew away in the wind or something. That's funny. If they continue to get better at this point, I would not be surprised if NASCAR takes total control of Truck Series production by the end of this deal and takes total control of Cup Series production for broadcast, and we get this kind of broadcasting quality on all 3 of the top 3 series. So again, I agree with Timmy Wolf here. It is still very early. There's still room to improve, but it's really damn good so far. And, you know, keep saying the issues you have because they're listening. Like they're actually listening at this point, which is, as for me as a NASCAR fan, if that can be the long term that the people putting on the show when they have issues listen to what we say, hell yes, I will take that in a heartbeat. Looking at the second stage, just because we kind of took our little stage break there, the big piece of it was one, Austin Hill's unscheduled stop that luckily did not hinder him too badly. And then the 7 and the 19 fighting again for the stage. This time Almirola getting the edge over Allgaier, then Zilich, Sammy Smith, Mayer, Quapple, Gray, Jones, Creed, and Love. And then we kind of covered pretty much everything in the last stage. It was early on, it was the 7, 19, and 88. And then the 88 had his issues in the pit stops, though he had fallen back a little bit. Any chance he could have had at winning gone, unfortunately. But again, I think that the foundation, just as we talked about with the broadcast, with the performance foundation we have with Zilich and Quapple in particular, we're going to see a lot of fun in the remainder of the year from those two, especially Zilich. He's the one that everyone's looking at right now, and for good reason. But overall, I thought, a pretty spread out final stage is going to probably bring a lot of people down when it comes to what they thought of this race. But I honestly thought it was a pretty decent race. I don't think I'd give it a 7, but I'd give it like a 5 or 6. It was just somewhere in the middle. It was a normal NASCAR Xfinity Series race. For any of you who didn't see, by the way, in the comments before the race, as we were, I was chatting it up in there with y'all watching it. If everything goes according to plan, I should be live. Obviously, I'll be live after each race next weekend, but I should be live at least Saturday in the garage. So for any old school fans who are going to get excited about that, we'll have the Chevelle in the background. Should be a lot of fun, for sure. But yeah, I thought a pretty decent race overall. So let's get to these super chats here, and member chats as well. I appreciate you guys waiting on me. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart with the 2 says, which is the best team in Xfinity? JRM, JGR, or RCR? That's a good one. That's a good poll question. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart always has the best ones that can be put up to a poll in these post-race ones. I appreciate it a ton, man. It's awesome. So I'm going to put best Xfinity team, and you guys vote for, because I think you can make an argument for all 3. So JRM, I think all their teams are hyper competitive, and I think that's something you can definitely look at on that end of it. They are definitely the most competitive and well-built team, especially now that Jones has left. So I see people voting that way. The high-end potential is definitely higher with Joe Gibbs Racing. If you get a capable driver in one of those cars, they're going to be top 3. Whether it's Eric Almirola, whether it's like we saw forever with Kyle Busch, we'll see them dominate races unlike just about any team can do on a regular basis. RCR is the one that's in there that I think a lot of people asleep on. I kind of skimmed over it outside of the, Hill kind of having a comeback. But third and fourth today, for me, it all hinges on Jesse Love. If Jesse Love can become a really top tier competitive driver, RCR could be that really well-built team. So, looking at the poll as we run it, we'll let it run for a little bit longer. I don't see why we shouldn't. It's a runaway gap right now, around 87 or so, 86% for JRM, close to 10% for JGR, and 5% for RCR. I'm surprised. I guess I'm not too surprised it's that crazy and far out, but overall, I really think it's closer than this poll lets it be. I think it's a bit of bias personally. Though I do think that JRM, I should say, winning that is, you can make an argument for it. I really think you can make an argument for it. And, I'm going to write that down because I think that's actually a good topic to talk about in NWP this Wednesday on Danny's channel. So I'm going to write that down right now. just so I remember to put that in the show on Wednesday. Zenith, again, for the 5-month member chat, asking how my day is. Pretty good day. It's been a good day. You know, I've had many days worse. David Bell here with the 14-month member chat said snow last night, sunny and decent. Las Vegas is now Tennessee. It sounds like it. It sounds like a spring in Illinois. If anyone lives in Illinois, I lived up in northern Illinois for a long time. We always would make jokes that the spring was bipolar. I remember me and my friends during our I think sophomore year of high school spring break, we went out just to the local state park that was right near us, and it was like 50 degrees as we walked in. We had to take shelter for a little bit because it was a blizzard snowstorm for 30 minutes. And by the time we got back to my car leaving the park, it was like 75 degrees out. It's just, that's what it seems like Vegas has been. Rowdy8_diecast says KFB was really good in the booth. Better than tomorrow. Yeah, better than tomorrow's booth for sure. Hometown comeback here. Maybe Kyle Busch has a little gas in the tank for another really good run. He was fast here last year before having some issues. I realize it just rhymed. Chris here with the 2. Quapple wins either Dover or Bristol. Bet on it. He's going to be competitive. It's all about just one, if the team can make sure they don't make mistakes, the driver doesn't make mistakes, and just stupid stuff doesn't happen to get in the way. That's literally all it takes, man. That's all it takes. Sly Supersonic with a 594 saying the correct driver won this week. Almirola stole one from Allgaier last week. He almost did it again, but lightning doesn't strike in the same spot twice. I'll say this. I think at the end of the race, the 19 was better than the 7. But Allgaier, I think, had the right positioning, and being as experienced of a driver in the series as he is, he was able easily to hold him off. I won't say easily. He was able with a lot of fight to hold him off. Chris McIntyre with the 2 says, it's ironic you put 2 on this one, says Creed's PR camp agreed to the 2nd place promo. I don't think you have to really ask permission unless they get really offended and then say, like, turn it off. But I mean, are they wrong? He finishes 2nd all the time. And let's see. Matt Parsons here with the 5. Again, love that profile picture. Did anyone see that the truck highlights on Fox's channel were uploaded without any hint after the delay? Anything that happened after the delay, I think is what you mean. That doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. There go the sirens again. They're trying to resuscitate NASCAR on Fox. The effort is just so low at this point, man. It's so low. I don't even know what to say anymore that anyone hasn't said already. Unfortunately, it's just, like with this TV, I sometimes just want to turn it off. But that'll do it. Yeah. The meme, quit dying. I swear I probably said that, and like there's actually somebody that probably died that day, and I just made a joke out of it. It is what it is. But thank you guys so much for coming in. We will be live tomorrow after the Cup race. I'll probably put the stream up around, I don't know, maybe after the first stage, if all is sunny and we're not looking at a bunch of snow like we did yesterday. We will be live. It will be a lot of fun. Come on in, spam inside the chat, and come hang out. But I'm gonna let you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I'm gonna go get some stuff done the rest of mine, and I will see you tomorrow. So till then, have a good one.